FlossTube, it's Robin of Lady Robins, and this is my channel where we talk about crafting, but specifically we talk about cross stitch. So I would like to welcome you back if you are a subscriber, and I thank you for doing that. And for those of you that are brand new, welcome. I appreciate you tuning in to see what kind of things I'm up to in my little corner of the FlossTube world. Today is Thursday, September 26th, which is crazy. It's almost October, and I still have October stitching that I want to complete. So I need to get my stuff in gear and get some good stitching done this week because I've got a couple of things that I'd really like to finish. So I've got myself a vanilla latte, getting myself all primed for a little chat with y'all about what I've been stitching on, what my stitchy plans are. I didn't get as much stitching done last week as I would have liked. I pretty much got as much stitching done as I thought I would, because I think I mentioned on my last FlossTube that we were going to go out to my parents' cabin and paint the cabin over the weekend, which is what we did. And we got the entire cabin painted, I mean trim and all that stuff done in a day. And it's not the biggest of places. It's a little one-story, 784 square feet cabin. It's not very fancy. If you ever walked in the place, you would go, good Lord, it's a testament to the 70s, because it's got yellow and orange indoor-outdoor carpeting throughout the whole place, which is perfect, because if you're on a lake and you've got wet kids running in and out of the cabin, you don't want the nice pretty shag in there, let me tell you. Nope, 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 nope. You want the durable orange and yellow glued to the subfloor indoor-outdoor carpet. It's perfect. This stuff wears like iron. It'll be there long after I'm dead, I'm sure. So anyway, the cabin is painted, but because of that, I did not get time to stitch this weekend, which is fine, because you know what? As much as I would love to sit on my rumpus all weekend long and stitch, that's not the reality of my life. I do have other things that I have to get done every once in a while, like laundry. And speaking of laundry, I cannot wait to show you the progress I've made on my hands-on design laundry whip. I almost said Sal, not Sal, whip. Okay. So this was one of the two pieces I had an opportunity to stitch on. And let me just show you the pattern, just refresh your memory of what that looks like. Just a super cute series, and there's 3 in the series, but right now I'm concentrating on this one that says laundry. So when last I left off on this guy, hold it back, sorry. I had not done any of the clothes hangers at the top. So I got those completed, which I'm surprised. Honestly, you guys, when I look at that, I think, oh, that doesn't have a whole lot of coverage. But you know what? Looking at it on camera, it looks a whole lot better than I think it should. I don't know. I mean, that sounds terrible, but what do you think? I think it looks adorable. I can hardly wait to get this in my laundry room. So, yeah, it's turning out super cute. I can hardly wait to finish it. So yeah, I have some back stitching I need to do, and then I'll get to work on all those fun little bottles along the bottom, and then up she'll go. So hopefully within the next week or so, I'll get this guy completed, and then I can move on to the other ones in the series. So like I said, there's 3 of them. So I'm looking forward to seeing those up in my laundry room. My laundry room could use a little sprucing up. I don't know about you, but laundry is not my favorite thing. So if I can look at cross stitch while I'm in there, it might still not be my favorite thing, but at least I've got a cuter space, right? Okay, so that was the first thing that I worked on. And then the other thing that I got an opportunity to work on was the Spooky Notes by Shepherd's Bush, which I showed you last week. I'll get it right on in there. Isn't that cute? I think that's so cute. So what I was able to get done on this little guy was I got the ghosts along the side, and then I'm starting to do kind of the, I don't know, is it a sunflower? I think it's a sunflower in the middle. So, oh, and then this flower down here, that too. So those were the bits that I got done this week on that. So super, super, super fun. That is, that's another one where, I don't know, I guess it's a series, and on that chart it says it's the 5th in the series, and I know I showed you last week that I picked up everything to do the Merry Notes, which is the Christmas one. So, yay! It's gonna be fun. So, this week for School of Magical Stitches, it's another 5-part homework assignment, and I don't think I'm gonna get it all done again. You guys, it's so not fair. I have been able to get all of my homework done for weeks, right? I start a FlossTube channel and suddenly I tank and I can't get my stitching completed for homework, which is so dumb. I don't know what that means, except that, I don't know, maybe I'm watching too much FlossTube and not stitching enough. I don't know. Could be anything. I can't tell you. But what I'm working on this week already for part of the homework is playing with jacks, the Play Jack Sal. So here's a reminder of what that looks like. And let me show you what I've gotten completed. So I've got the middle pumpkin almost done. And again, isn't that cute? That's going to be so cute. So that will definitely not be done in time for Halloween this year, but next year. It'll be done next year for sure. So I'm just having a blast doing this Sal. So yeah, if you want to play with us, post on Instagram with hashtag PlayJackSal. Pardon me, and what Aaron, the 2 Martini Stitcher, pardon me, and Leslie Hurley have been able to do is set up a coupon code through Shepherd's Needle, which is in, I got it right here in front of me, they're in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I can put information in the show notes below so that you can use that code and get a 15% discount. So if you need the chart, you need fabric, you need flosses, they can set you up with all of that, and then come join us, because this is really fun to stitch on. Now, like, you know, this is a great piece for the School of Magical Stitches homework, because all that, you know, color, the same color, all that white, man, stitches go quick. I almost have 500 stitches done this week, so yay. That is awesome. I'm kind of stoked with my progress on that guy. So, couple of things that I want to show you. First off, oh, I almost forgot. Yay, I didn't forget. Remember I told you I bought 2 Bitsy Bobs and I only had 1 hanging around my desk, and I knew one was in a bag. Here's my other one. I got a Harry Potter themed Bitsy Bob, and it just couldn't be cuter. I just love this thing. So the funny thing is, I was watching, like I said, I was watching some FlossTube, and turns out Anna, who is the, ooh, I wrote it down. She is the Stitch Roadie. Anna the Stitch Roadie. She showed that she bought a Bitsy Bob on her last FlossTube. Same one. Anna and I are twinsies. We're Bitsy Bob twinsies is what she commented. So that was fun. So Anna, proof we really are twinsies. So that was fun to see that I'm not the only crazy Bitsy Bobber out there. But I just dig the interior of this. Most of the Bitsy Bobs have white felt in the interior, which is great. But this craft colored, you know, natural linen color, that couldn't be yummier. I love it. So Bitsy Bobs, if you don't have one, you might want to go to That's So Kelly Co. on Etsy and pick a couple up. I think she is on vacation. Her shop is closed. Don't quote me, but I think it's through October 7th. So if you try to go to her site right now, it'll just tell you she's on a little break. But I think she comes back on October 7th. And yeah, who knows? She must be sewing up a storm, and then we can see what cute new pattern she, you know, fabric she's going to use on new Bitsy Bob. So these are a must-have. Okay, I went nuts a couple weeks ago, well, more like a month ago, and decided to do something I haven't done since probably the 90s. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I turned in 2 cross-stitch pieces to our local state fair. So I'm in Washington, so I turned 2 cross-stitch pieces into the Washington State Fair in Puyallup. So I picked them up yesterday, and so I wanted to show them to you. Now, don't gasp in shock and surprise. The first one I'm going to show you is a pattern by Bent Creek. Right? You know how much I love Bent Creek. So this is the first little thing I turned into the fair. And, you know, sometimes you get some comments. I got a cute picture. I'll take that. Cute picture, that works for me. I thought that was great. I wish I knew who the judges were, because I would love to talk to them, because the other one that I turned into the fair is bigger. And just a second. Oops. Oh, shoot. Okay. Is this one. This is a Rovaris pattern. And anybody that knows me knows that I don't have cats. I have a dog. But I'm giving this to my parents. My parents have a cat who they adore. So I gave them, you know, a piece that was stitched like only this far at Christmas, and I said, I'll finish it. The second it's done, I'll give it to you, which was a complete lie, because the second it was done, I turned it into the fair. But now that it's back from the fair, I'm going to bring this over to my parents. So this will live in their house. So what I thought was interesting, sorry, I dropped something on the floor, pardon me. Was I got an honorable mention. I couldn't believe it. I am thrilled with this. I wasn't paying any attention to tension or, you know, making sure it was, I don't know, not that I'm doing a yucky job. Not that I'm, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not necessarily paying attention because I framed it myself, that there's exactly, you know, 1 inch margin all the way around the thing. I'm like, it's close enough. It's not, you know, noticeably crooked in the frame. It was good enough for me, right? It's gonna go in my parents' house. They'll be thrilled if I got it in there sideways, okay? But then parents are like that. They live whatever their kids foist on them. So anyway, I just thought it was crazy that I got an honorable mention. But now I'm like all obsessed, you guys, because I got comments. I got like real comments beyond cute picture, right? And it said, overall piece has a nice presentation, some threads shadowing in the ears. I can't see it, but apparently they could. And then tension changes in a couple of areas. You guys, how do you fix that? I stitch in hand, so I'm assuming it probably has something to do with the fact that it's not, you know, on scroll frames or in a Q-snap or embroidery hoop, and so I'm sure because of that, I'm sure that leads to part of that. But man alive, now I'm like, I gotta watch more FlossTube and figure out how to have consistent tension, because I might want to turn something into the fair next year, because it was so rewarding to see your stuff on display next to, you know, other people's stuff. So anyway, I was really tickled that I got a ribbon, because I'm not an athlete, so I didn't get any first place ribbons or trophies for athletics growing up. But if you can get a ribbon for something like stitching, hey, why not? I thought that was super fun. So, yay! The cat is gonna go live with my parents now. All right, what other crazy things do I have to tell you? Oh, I got some great stitchy mail last week. I got my copy of the Just Cross Stitch 2019 Christmas ornament issue. Man, there's a ton of just lovely, lovely, lovely things in here. So it's been a while since I stitched Christmas ornaments, so I am looking forward to doing some of these. So if you haven't picked this up, you might want to take a peek. Really, really super cute. Speaking of FlossTube, I wanted to thank a couple of people. One of my commenters last week, I mentioned that I was looking for a nice home sweet home pattern and who would you look at on Etsy. And so Crafty Peacock Stitchery, that's Katie, suggested I look at Stitchery. And if you haven't looked at Stitchery, there is a ton of super, super cute things. So Katie, thank you for pointing me in their direction. I really appreciated that. Couple other FlossTubers that I discovered this week. I had watched the Kindred Stitcher, Lisa, the Kindred Stitcher. So I found her on FlossTube probably 2 weeks ago and didn't mention it last week, and I thoroughly enjoyed her channel. And you guys, remember I talked about that fair just a minute ago? Lisa, the Kindred Stitcher, was the Grand Reserve champion at the fair. How cool is that? Like, my stuff was like in the same room as royalty, right? So it was super fun to come across her FlossTube channel and then to see her piece on her Instagram feed and see her beautiful ribbon. So Lisa, beautiful stitching girlfriend, really, really fabulous. I am in awe. I would love to talk to you about tension. Another stitcher that I found on FlossTube is Nineoneone Stitcher, which is Stacy, and she has 4 or 5 episodes up on her channel, and she's delightful, you guys. I would check out the Nineoneone Stitcher if you haven't already. I thoroughly have been enjoying watching her. And then the last one that I have heard about but just haven't had an opportunity to watch, and did that this morning when I was supposed to be getting ready to go to work, oops, was Stitch Goes My Heart. And that's Stephanie, and lovely, lovely stitching. I thoroughly enjoyed her videos. So if you haven't heard of any of these folks, sit down, grab some coffee, and yeah, watch them. These people are super fun to watch. I did have a suggestion from one of you, and I forgot to write down your name. I'm so sorry. One of you suggested, after I talked on last week's video, of demonstrating how to do a pin stitch. So I've never tried to demonstrate anything on FlossTube, but I thought, what the heck? I am happy to give it a whirl. So let me just, I'm gonna pause this, grab some stuff, and I'll be back in a flash. You won't even know you missed me. Just a second. Okay, I'm back. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have changed glasses. These are my readers. I was never going to show you this, but I'm blind as a bat when it comes to seeing little tiny holes on fabric. So I put on readers, and then I put on these lovelies. These are mag eyes. So magnifier on top of magnifier, because I can't see if I don't do it. All right, secret's out. All right, so to do a pin stitch, just see if I can. In the middle of your, so you're gonna pretend you're working one strand of floss, right? One strand over 2 on your linen, okay? And the way I find it works best for me is if I figure out where, you know, the center of that square is, I just go down from the front of the fabric, okay? And then I hold on to that tail, and then the square right next to it, right next to it, I come up. Can you see that? Probably not. Okay? Then that middle square where my tail is, where my tail's hanging out, I go down through that tail. And the secret, you guys, the secret is you have to catch that thread as you're going down through the middle, okay? So you're catching that. And then come up right next to it. Oh my gosh, there's no way you can see this. I'm going to edit this out, forget it. Go back down through the middle again, catch the fabric, okay? So you've pierced that fabric twice, right? Now, if you yank on your tail from the front, yank on your thread from the back, it's totally secure, okay? And then, at that point, just cross stitch over it. It's so tiny, you guys, that you'll never ever see it. So, cross stitch over the top of it. At first, I was absolutely convinced I could see it. No. Okay, I'm blind, right? If I can't see it, ain't nobody can see it. No. You can't see this. You can't see this. All right. That's the pin stitch. I will look for Karen Needlebugg's tutorial on doing this, because she does a beautiful job of demonstrating it, much more than mine. It's just so silly. Anyway, I don't know if that showed you anything useful or not. But the trick really is, I had been watching a couple of videos about the pin stitch, and what I never heard was, and it makes so much sense, but what I never heard was, make sure when you go down and you've got your tail on the top of your fabric, and then you come right up and then you go right down that middle hole again, pierce that fabric, you know, pierce that thread. Okay? I don't know, because I'm so hung up on, you know, not catching my floss with my needle as I'm, you know, completing the stitch right next to it. It's so counterintuitive when you're stitching, because you know, you don't want to do that. Then you get all sorts of nasty comments from the fair people, right? That somebody actually had to say, and it was Karen Needlebug, said, you know, pierce that thread. And once she said that, I'm like, yep, that makes sense. I should have figured that out. So that's the pin stitch. As you can tell, I am a horrible demonstrator. Just forgive me. Just go with it. All right, so I am gonna leave you here. I didn't make a purchase this week. I have nothing to show you. I got no haul to trot out. Oh, but what I do have, I don't know if you'll find this interesting, but I was in, where is it? Oh, here it is. Found it. Sorry. I was looking for some floss back in my stash, and I've got this little plastic bucket, for lack of a better term, that's filled with odds and ends, and it's just things that they don't belong anyplace else, and so they just live in this bucket. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna see what's in there, and I found the first cross stitch piece I ever did. Want to see it? I'm gonna show it to you. I stitched this. This is my first piece. It couldn't be tinier. Can you see that? Little tiny bear. Yeah, back stitch and all. That was my first piece. I learned how to cross stitch when I was working in a telephone call center, and I remember watching women sit around answering calls and they're stitching, right? And I remember thinking, oh heck no. I know if I learn how to cross stitch, I'm going to do this job forever. And I don't want to do this job forever. So I absolutely refused to cross stitch. And then what happened was, I was looking through a magazine. Somebody had a cross stitch magazine. It probably was a Just Cross Stitch magazine. And I saw a table runner that had nutcrackers on the end of it. And my sister adores nutcrackers. And I thought, you know what? That would be a really cool Christmas present for my sister. So I decided, all right, I give in. I guess I'm going to sit here forever. Thank God I didn't, but... So I picked that up at Michael's. And then my second piece, again, was a little kit. I don't know if you can see that. This is my second piece. So, cute little jester, court jester, I guess. So after I did those two, I went to a local L&S that isn't there anymore, and walked in with this magazine, and I was like, I need all the stuff to make this. And the lady was lovely. She got me the fabric, she got me the flosses, she got me needles, she got me needle threaders, all that stuff. And then I took it to work and went up to one of the ladies and said, how do I figure out how to, you know, put this on the end? How do you map that out? And she was lovely and told me how to do it. And I sat there and stitched this table runner for my sister for Christmas and got it done, and I've been stitching ever since. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. All right, you guys, I have stitching to do. I will see you all later, and I hope you have a really great rest of your week, and you have lots of time to stitch and have fun. All right, bye. Thanks for tuning in.